about humanity.
Oh my Lord, I cannot say it's 6 p.m. because it's nearly 5 past. Because, thanks to Big G in the chat, it was dated the 17th, which was yesterday. I have no idea whether it is because I double checked that it was the 18th. But, and I guess for those of you listening on the podcast, this is why we're running a little bit late. So forgive me, everyone, but we are here. We got the thing working. Big G, thank you for spotting that one. Other people who said they could not find the channel. So there you go. Or they couldn't find the video. So anyway, we're here, people. Welcome. It is Monday, the 18th of August, 2025. As always, don't panic, just hodl. That is all you've got to do. These price swings, yeah, they freak all of us out, but they're price swings for ants. Don't look at the fact that Bitcoin dropped $9,000. Look at the fact that it was something like 3%. It was tiny. A dip for ants, but of course none of us like it when you see the price going down. We went down as low as 114. We're now at 116.087. So all is well. Stay calm, stay humble, stack sats. If you're new and you're finding the channel for the first time, do your own research. Don't come here looking for charts, price predictions, technical analysis, all that sort of jargon. You're not going to get it. I just go live twice a week and I rant about Bitcoin. That is it. I would encourage you to follow me somewhere else while we get these preliminaries out of the way. This is not going out on Rumble. For some reason, when I went live, it said this is not streaming to Rumble. There's an error. That may be because the date was wrong. So forgive me. I'll upload it to Rumble afterwards so that it is there for those that want to catch it on Rumble. But I would encourage you to follow me on Rumble. UKBitcoinMaster 1 at the end. That's where you'll find all my videos. Not only that, support the show sponsors because these are Bitcoiners as well. The Best of Exmoor is a holiday company here in the UK with around 200 holiday cottages. Where you can literally pay in Bitcoin, you can pay in currency, you can go and have a fantastic holiday right on the coast, inland, beautiful walks, pet friendly, 1 day, 20 days, one sleep 20. They've got something there for everyone. So do check them out, scan the QR code so that we can show them a little bit of love. Okay, we've got this coming up on the 23rd of August, which is 18th. Hang on, 7 days away now. So a couple of more promos on this one. If you're up or near Scotland, there's a one-day conference taking place at Glasgow University. Scan the QR code, check out an A-list of speakers that they've got going on up there. Okay, back to me. Those of you that were struggling to find the show, I know people were messaging me saying, I can't find the show. Why not? Well, I guess it was human error. I put it in for yesterday's day. I did to set the show up yesterday, but I was convinced I clicked the 18th. But hey, who knows whether it's me, whether it's Google stroke YouTube. It was wrong, but we got it right now. But I can see many of you in the chat. And in fact, I've lost one of my chats. So let me move this over so I can see you all. Rocky Palumbo's in. Mrs. Elaine, Mrs. UK is in. Arsenal Steph, Barefoot Barry, New Zealand. I'm going up from the bottom to the top this time. Bram VDB, Janet Yellen's Liquidity, Hull Bitcoiner is with us. Johnny Midas is in the house. John G, Big G. I saw JB Bitcoiner somewhere. I think I might have given him a shout out, but let's see. Yorkie Bitcoin is with us. Justin Time is in the house. Chelsea Baz is watching a little bit later. Hey, listening, welcome everyone. I'm sorry we're a few minutes late. We got it working in the end. Okay, so if you can remember the thumbnail, and with everything that went on, I'm now forgetting what the thumbnail was. It said that the influence that Bitcoiners now have is striking. And it really is. Now, at the risk of repeating what all the other podcasters are talking about, it is what it is. I only go live twice a week. So if things happened, say, on Friday, then, of course, I don't report them until Monday. But we all know, if we go over to the desktop right now, that it started with this, if I can get it up there. And it says, from no to maybe. Treasury Secretary Besson leaves Bitcoin option open. But it didn't start like that. The US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent walked back a line that rattled Bitcoin markets on Thursday, saying the Treasury is still looking at ways to add a strategic Bitcoin reserve without raising taxpayer costs. This was a walk back from him being on Fox News saying that they were not going to stack any more Bitcoin. They were going to use confiscated Bitcoin, etc. He had earlier told Fox Business that we are not going to be buying that, but later posted on social media that the department is exploring budget-neutral pathways, which we've heard before. Quote, Bitcoin that has been finally forfeited to the federal government will be the foundation of the strategic Bitcoin reserve that President Trump established in his March executive order. In addition, Treasury Secretary is committed to exploring, and it goes on. Now, the point is, he was out on Fox News, and there was just an absolute rampage of Bitcoiners just pushing back and pushing back. And I believe a few hours later, that gets overturned, and he comes out with, have we got a problem? Okay, right. Apparently, some people in the chat aren't getting anything. Oh, dear. Okay, right. So you guys all help me out in the chat. Who can see and hear me? All good here. Okay, so New Zealand is getting this feed fine. Who else? John G, no, we're not. Anybody else? Can anybody else tell me whether this is working or if this is not working? What a flipping nightmare. JB Bitcoiner says no. Okay, all good here. All good for Janet Yellen's liquidity. Loud and clear for Johnny Midas. Come on, guys, put it in the chat. Refresh your browsers, people. Barefoot Barry said, refresh your browser. Okay, I need to crack on. Clearly, many people are getting this video, and I'm already running late, and I don't like running late. So my point here is we have got enough influence as Bitcoiners that we can actually make the United States Treasury Secretary backpedal. And I don't want any of you to underestimate our power. There's a big movement in the UK right now because of some of the law changes they're trying to push through. And there's a petition out there that anyone can sign, and it goes to their local MP. And we're trying to do what the US have clearly done and are clearly doing, as with what just happened with Scott Bessent rolling back his initial comments. So, fantastic. That's what we want. We've got a voice, and that's key. Okay. Petition gains momentum to restore Satoshi Nakamoto statue in Lugano. Remember, I reported a couple of weeks ago that vandals had ripped it off and they'd thrown it in the river. Let's have a look. Support is rapidly building for the restoration of Lugano's Satoshi Nakamoto statue after it was damaged and dumped into Lake Caressio earlier this month. A Change.org petition urging city officials to take action has now surpassed 1,100 signatures. The bronze statue, created by artist Valentina Picozzi and the Satoshi Gallery Collective, was first revealed during the Plan B Forum on October the 5th, 2024. So, why do they need to go and do stuff like that? But it would be really great to get that up and running again. I've got Yorkie Bitcoiner saying no stream here. I don't know. Many people are getting it. So the stream's clearly working. I don't have an answer, people. So try refreshing your browser, go out of it, go back in again. I don't know. I can't help you. If people are getting it, then I guess I've got to continue. Okay. Taiwan's first Bitcoin treasury company raises 10 million to buy Bitcoin. Luxury watch retailer Topwin has raised $10 million in an investment strategy that sees it become the first Bitcoin treasury company in Taiwan. In fact, even on my... Okay, I've just refreshed my browser on my phone and it's now working. So you got to refresh your browsers. I've just done that and it's actually now working. So this is really strange. Hang on a sec. Wow, this is a nightmare. We're going to get the stream done anyway. We move on. According to a press release, the Hong Kong-based company said its move to venture into digital assets and Web3 space sees it become the first Taiwanese public company to adopt Bitcoin as a treasury asset. So everywhere we're looking, this thing is kicking off. Not getting any show, John G. I don't know what to say. The chat, I won't say it's distracting. That's the wrong thing to say. But several of you are saying you're getting the stream okay. So not sure what's going on. Wells Fargo's massive Q2 Bitcoin ETF buy signals institutional crypto confidence. US banking and financial services firm Wells Fargo quietly increased its holdings in BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust exchange traded fund by more than sixfold, from $26 million to more than $160 million between the first and second quarters of 2025, according to SEC filings revealed in August. Crazy, people, how these institutions are piling into this thing. So don't be driven by the short-term thinking of the price swings. Wells Fargo represents one of the largest institutional adopters of the IBIT ETF. It's currently recognized as the third largest bank in the US by assets under management and boasts more than 70 million global customers. It goes on. Kazakhstan launches first spot Bitcoin ETF in Central Asia with BitGo. Kazakhstan has entered the global Bitcoin investment market with the launch of Central Asia's first spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund. The Font Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund, or BETF, started trading on August 13th, 25 on the Astana International Exchange, giving investors regulated access to the world's largest scarce digital commodity. More. H100 Group adds 45.8 Bitcoin, bringing total now to over 809 BTC. H100 Group AB has further expanded its Bitcoin reserves, adding 45.8 Bitcoin to its treasury. The purchase, part of the company's ongoing Bitcoin treasury strategy, includes Bitcoin acquired through proceeds from convertible loan agreements. This milestone comes just weeks after H100 became the largest publicly listed Bitcoin treasury holder in the Nordic region. Since early June 2025, the company has grown its reserves from only 6.2 Bitcoin to over 809 Bitcoin, an increase of around 13,000% in just over 2 months. Who says the companies aren't coming? Who says these companies aren't stacking? Because they are clearly stacking like maniacs. Barefoot Barry and Johnny Midas, enjoy this show. It's just for you both. Haha. I don't know who's getting this and who's not, but we'll have to get the show done and then I'll check it out on YouTube, etc. Okay, moving on. If you invested, look at this one, people, and this is why I say long-term thinking. Give yourself a decade. If you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2010, here's what it would be worth today. In 2010, at between 6 and 29 cents per coin, a $1,000 investment would have purchased approximately 16,666 Bitcoin. Back then, pricing varied based on timing and how the purchase was made, with no standardized market in place. As of 2025, Bitcoin has surpassed 123,000 per coin. A $1,000 investment made in 2010, when Bitcoin traded as low as 6 cents, could have purchased approximately 16.6 thousand Bitcoin. At today's price, that investment would be worth more than $2 billion. Even if the purchase occurred at the 2010 peak of 29 cents per coin and not 6 cents, the investment would still be valued at over 570 million. That is why we say buy and hold for the long term. Quick shout out, if you're not on the Orange Pill app, check it out, an app for Bitcoiners. You can connect with Bitcoiners across the world. use the link in my show notes if you're brand new, and they'll give you 5,000 sats once you've taken out a subscription. By the Book Accountancy, Robin Thatcher, there he is down there, also known as the Crypto Tax Help website as well. Well worth checking them out if you're in the UK. There's a lot going on here in the UK right now. You want to follow Robin on Twitter. I can't think, is the Crypto Accountant or something like that, because he is always tweeting about the changes that are coming and what you need to be aware of. If you are in the UK, well worth a free 30-minute consultation with Robin and ask him your questions. But tell him you came through the UKBitcoinMaster website. On to Elaine, I've swapped my VPN to America and it has let me in. Okay, so you've put your VPN to America and now it's let you in. That is totally bizarre. Oh, well, here we go. I've got my VPN still running, actually, so I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but it doesn't normally. We move on. Okay, look at this woman. Don't you just despise the woman and you don't really know her? Just in, DC Circuit Court of Appeals rules President Trump can move forward with dismantling the CFPB, an agency created by Elizabeth Warren. Look at this one. If you're in the UK, it says, stop taxing the dead. I'm going to read this. Abolish inheritance tax, it says. Tax is a necessary evil in a functioning and well-ordered society, but inheritance tax is unjustifiable. Well, I think tax is theft. IHT undermines the right to freely pass on wealth to one's children, penalising those who save, those who invest, and build businesses by taxing assets that were already taxed during the owner's lifetime. Inheritance tax may force heirs to sell family businesses, farms, or property to pay the tax, disrupting long-term stewardship and the local economy. It is rooted in an envy-based philosophy of wealth redistribution, expanding state power at the expense of individual liberty. It must be abolished. And you know what? I couldn't agree more with that one. Bitcoin Magazine. We don't need the banks anymore, says Jack Dorsey. Couldn't agree with that one. Don't know whether you agree, but yeah, we don't need these banks. You know, Bitcoin doesn't need banks. Banks need Bitcoin, and that's the key. States, Bitcoin doesn't need states to support it, US presidents to support it, but they need Bitcoin, because if they don't jump on the Bitcoin train, they're going to become obsolete as well. What else? Bitcoin breaking. I hate these big breaking headlines, but they're just there. Forgive me. I hate big breaking. Just in, breaking news. Rumors of Qatar to invest $100 billion in Bitcoin. Well, who knows? This is an old picture from Nayib Bukele meeting one of the top people from Qatar. Who knows what they're going to do, but if they got any common sense, they're looking at this thing and thinking, I've got to get in on that. Bitcoin news, Norges Bank, Norway's central bank, increases its Bitcoin equivalent exposure from 6,200 to 11,400 BTC in Q2. Here we go again, an 83% jump. The position is almost entirely in strategy with a small addition in MetaPlanet. It doesn't matter how they come in. They are coming in, people, and you want to hold your coins. You want to stack while you still can. And Saylor said it, I believe, we've probably got one more decade to really stack before 99% of all the Bitcoin is out there in the ether, and the last 1% is going to take 115 years to be mined. Think about that, people, particularly if you're holding a quarter of a coin, half a coin, 2 coins, 5 coins, and literally the last 1% of coins are going to take over 100 years to come into existence. That is why we hold our coins. Carl B. Menger. Glad we have Bitcoin. You are not crazy, people. You are awake in an insane world. That's how I feel. We are awake in a crazy, mental, insane world. And the mere fact that you're holding Bitcoin, give yourself a pat on the back, because you are awake, people. What else? Simply Bitcoin. There's a unique guilt every Bitcoiner feels. knowing you could help your parents retire, knowing you could secure your kids' future, but they won't listen. They think it's fake. You can't save everyone, but you can lead by example, so keep stacking. I wanted to pull it together with that because you can't convince them all. We've beaten our head against the wall trying to get our family to wake up to what's going on, even bringing it down to our family's level of competence and understanding, showing them what happens if you put money into a savings plan in a bank every month versus putting, say, 50 or £100 into Bitcoin and watching it compound. And you know what? They just don't get it. We had a family member that I sat and showed it to. I said, we won't speak. It's 19 minutes long. And at the end, any questions, I'll answer them. We got to the end and I said, so any questions? And they looked at me and just went, nah. And that was it. Went on with their lives. So we cannot help everyone, but we can lead by example. Vinny Rondo, good to see you. We've had all sorts of problems, Vinny. Some people are not seeing the stream and some people are. So if you're seeing the stream and it's normal, put it in the chat. Would really appreciate it. Okay, so I found this great quote. And to be honest, it's not Bitcoin related, but from the amazing Stephen Hawking. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. And that's what you and I have done. We're adapting to change. We've seen Bitcoin. We've seen how it's going to change the world over time. We've adapted to it. We've embraced it. And we are going to be in a unique situation as the next decade or two rolls out. Yeah, it's not working on Rumble, Vinny. I had a problem at the start of the show, but I'm going to upload it to Rumble afterwards. So we are all in a unique position, people, and you should feel blessed that you're in Bitcoin in the 2020s because it's going to be written about in the history books, I can tell you. Okay, if you want to support the show, there's some Sats addresses. You don't have to. I've said this a million times before. Okay, got a live guest on Thursday, another good one. Looking forward to this one. So come join me 6 p.m. on Thursday, not Wednesday, not Friday. It'll be 6 p.m. on Thursday. What was the guy? Who was it put in the chat and told me it was the wrong date? I want to give him another shout out. Where are we in the chat now? Big G. Yeah, I'll get the date right. In fact, I thought I had the date right, but I clearly didn't. So remember, if you're new, no financial advice. Don't come looking for it, people. Do your own research. I'm just a guy on the internet, but I will be back on Thursday. Internet and everything working, willing, with another live show. I'll check this out on YouTube later to see if it's all right on YouTube. Hey, I can't do anything about that. You can't replace the video. It is what it is. But I'll put it out on Rumble later as well. So we've also got, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, our 21 million club coming up at the weekend on Saturday. Really, really looking forward to that one as well. But come and join me on Thursday. Another live guest, somebody I haven't had on before. Should be a good one. Until then, please retweet this. Please share it where you're watching, where you're listening. If you're on the podcast, thank you for being here. Go back into the comments after the show's finished, refresh your browser and leave a comment because it does help the YouTube algorithm. But until then, I'm out of here. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I'm going to leave you with Chelsea Baz's Hello Earth Rabbit Hole song about broken money. Have a great week. I'll be back on Thursday, 6 p.m. London. And don't forget, don't panic, just hodl. Here comes Chelsea Baz's awesome song.